Hey, hi guys. So I'm Priya here and I'm gonna take you to the future Subledger accounting sessions today, and we'll be doing this for over the three days, 6 hours each. So let's start our session. So I have divided Subledger accounting of this training into 3 parts. So day 1 we'll be discussing mainly about the architect of the Subledger accounting and what FAH offers to us, which is Fusion Accounting Hub. So SLA is basically part of FAH. So I'll cover some of the things about FAH to give you a major idea of what is this. And day 2 will be considering mainly on the rules, how we configure SLA, how all the rules are done and how accounting is derived. And day 3 will be discussing on the security part of that, which will be next Saturday. So that's how I have divided. So day 2 will be like a bit longer. So I'll try to cover some of the part of day 2 in day 1 if we get the time, so that we have more time on day 2 for hands-on and everything as well. So day 1 will be discussing more about the Subledger application as a whole and the sources. Can you no chat messages? So I'll be covering what Subledger application is, the overview of the complete application, how do we update the ledger options and everything, the transaction objects, the sources, and the accounting attributes. I know all these things may be hearing as a new thing, but yeah, the moment we go through all of them, we'll get a better picture out of that. Okay, let's start. So Subledger Accounting Overview. What is Subledger Accounting? So this is nothing, it's not a separate product, I'll say. FAH is a separate product, which is Fusion Accounting Hub. But Subledger Accounting is a rule engine. So the engine which centralizes all the Fusion products. So whether you are working on your receivables or payables or procurement or any of the subledgers, it is just an accounting engine for all these subledgers. So it's a centralized thing. Now with FAH, this rule engine not only works with the internal products, that is our receivables or payables, it also works with my external modules. So imagine you have a legacy system which is not on Oracle and you bought an Oracle product. So you want to integrate, you want accounting for your legacy system as well. So we can also integrate that. So we can say that this satisfies the needs of your both Oracle as well as your external modules. So what this does is it basically generates your accounting, your journal entries for your source system transaction. We'll be using this word throughout our training, source system. Now source system can be our internal Oracle systems, like payables is a source system for me, or receivables is a source system for me, or it can be my external systems as well, which I'll also cover how we do that. Now these create accounting entries. Okay, so what it does, it creates accounting entries for your specific transaction, for example. So it creates online accounting. So what I meant by online here is we have a scheduled process to run the accounting, as well as you can do it online on a specific transaction. The moment you create a transaction, you can do accounting on that. Again, that accounting goes to SLA to derive the entries. And it creates accounting for a batch of transaction by submitting offline process. So you have two ways. That is my create accounting program that does that. So you can either schedule that program and it will automatically account all your transactions in one go, or you can do it for a particular transaction. And you can create manual entries as well, manual subledger entries. And then you can review your results and you can project the balances on your views, on your OTBI reports and your BI reports as well. Okay, so these are some of the things which SLA product does. Any questions on this one?
So SLA is to automatically generate journal transactions once the actual transaction entered in Subledger.
Wait, let me just go to the application to make these things more clear what I meant. So we are in the financials application. So like I know this works for all the modules. So we can either go to receivables or we can go to payables. Subledger you'll find everywhere. So if you go to payables, and if I show all the tasks here, and if you scroll down, you will see your Subledger tasks. So basically it starts from this manage Subledger, rule set, accounting source, accounting methods, manage Subledger application. So below these all are the Subledger tasks. So you will find all these tasks across all the applications. Now if I go to receivables, I'll see these tasks again. Again, these are not the mandatory tasks, so you will see it under all tasks only. Because by default, Oracle gives a seeded rule for all of these applications. So these are not the mandatory tasks to do. So again, here you can see Subledger application and all these things. So let's see what Subledger does first, and then we see how to do it. So let me go to receivables as an example first. So if I open my transaction, any of my AR transaction, so I'll open a payables invoice. There are no recent invoices. Let me see. No. Let me search for an invoice. So I'm just seeing if any existing invoices are there in the system, just to show you the accounting. All of you guys have your environment URLs and everything, and it's working for you, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Okay, let's see this invoice. Or let me see. Okay, let's see this one. So in the actions here, you have something called as post to ledger and accounting draft. So these are the things when we click on post to ledger or we click on accounting draft, the Subledger engine runs in the background and it generates accounting entries for me. So the moment I hit accounting draft, it is in unaccounted status yet. So it says accounting is complete and I can view my accounting here. So if I click on view accounting, it will show me these accounting lines. It shows me this account combination. There are only two segments in the chart of accounts, your company and account segment. So this is my liability, it's hitting all these accounts. So from where these accounts came, this is what my subledger is. So I can define the rules to generate these accounts, from where this one company value will come or where this 100 account value will come. This is what my subledger does. So here you can see the classes, the events. We are gonna study all of these in the Subledger modules. What are my events and what are my classes, debit sides, credit sides. So we'll cover everything. This is what my module does for me. Now what is the difference between these two? They both accounted for me. The difference is this is just a draft accounting. It is not posting anything to my journal ledger. But this, if I click here, it will post it. It will generate the journal entries for me as well as it will post it to my journal ledger. So currently the status is draft because I ran the draft accounting. The moment I click post on ledger, it will post the accountings to my journal ledger. Now this method is called as the online accounting, which I here create accounting entries online for a specific transaction. So it can be a AR transaction or it can be a payables transaction or any other transaction. It can be your payment, it can be your invoice. So this is called online accounting. Now let's see what is offline accounting. That is my second one for a batch of transaction. How this works is, shall I click done? Any doubts on this online accounting?
It's okay.
Okay, cool. Now how this offline accounting works is, we schedule a process. So I'll just go to schedule processes. If you have any questions about the navigations or everything, feel free to ask. I'll submit, and if I'm going fast, please tell me, I'll be slow. And the process name is create accounting. So this is a general process. If I'm gonna, the process will do the same thing that it does for me in the account to draft mode. The only difference is this will do it for all my transactions And for that, it's just one by one. I did it for a specific transaction. So I'll click OK and it will ask me for parameters. The first thing it will ask me, what is your Subledger application? Now this Subledger application, what I did for the online one was the payables one, which is my standard application. And here you can see many applications which are done with some of the initials, tests and all. So these are all my external applications. So I can create accounting for my internal applications, that is Oracle module like payables, payroll, projects, receipt accounting, receivables, or I can do it for my external applications. Now how to create these external applications and how it works, they are all part of FAH. But SLA does accounting for all of them. Now let's see, I'm doing it for my receivables transactions. I'll select which ledger because it all works on the basis of ledgers. So let me select any ledger, it's just a test instance. Again, it will ask me process category. So under receivables, I have various process categories. I'll cover all these in details. What is process category? Just to give you a flavor of how it works, I'm just running that. So I'm saying that, okay, I just want to run it for all of them. So I just leave it blank. I'm running it till today date. Accounting mode. So you saw I had two modes here, draft and final. I'm saying it's just a draft accounting. I'm just viewing how the system works. I'm not posting anything to ledger or anything. So it's saying even if draft, do you want to process all the events or just some errors that you processed or occur? I'm saying all the events. At the end of the process, do you want to generate a report or detailed report or just a summary report? We have a parameter. Do you want to post these, you want to transfer these entries to GL? I'm saying no, it's just for my own viewing purpose. I'm not going to transfer anything. I'm not going to post anything. And I will submit this program. So once I submit, the Subledger engine will just generate draft accounting for all my receivables transaction because I have not selected any process category. Same way for payables, it will ask me all the questions and I will submit the program. So this is called my offline accounting for a batch of transactions. Now how to create manual entries, this will cover as part of day 3 along with security. There are some other advanced options, manual entries that are done as part of day 3. And the reports. So any doubts on this overview? You got a bit of flavor, I guess, now that what are we going to do in this session? That makes sense? Okay, let's see now. Now how this accounting generated. You know, when I run this process, it asks me for a ledger. Now the ledger is very much important here. Let me go back to my setup and maintenance. Have any of you heard about the 4 C's in Oracle? It's very common terminology that we use. Yes, yes. Perfect. So my Subledger accounting deals with the 4th C, that is my accounting method. So in the ledger options, we have my currency where we select our chart of accounts, we select our accounting calendar, and we select our accounting method. So whatever discussion we'll do in day 4, in all these 3 days will be around this accounting method that my Subledger accounting deals with. So let's see in the system just quickly for the people who haven't seen this. I'll just open the ledger options here. Let me go to financials.
So in short, could you enlighten us why accounting method, the 4th C was introduced?
Yes, I will show you. I'll show you. It was there before. It is not a new introduction. Everything was there from the beginning. It's just that the Subledger deals with this thing because we can play around. We can create our own methods and then we can attach it to our ledgers. So, for example, you can have multiple ledgers, right? You can have your primary ledgers as well as you can have your secondary ledgers. say your primary ledger works on your IFRS accounting standards, whereas your secondary ledgers, you want to do it as per US GAAP. So your accounting will be different for both of them, and you need different methods. So this is what my accounting method will do. So for my primary ledger, I will create a method and I will attach here, which is as per my IFRS standard. And I'll select my secondary ledger and I'll attach an accounting method, which is as per my US GAAP standards. So this is the part of subledger accounting under your options.
So you mean the transactions will be accounted simultaneously in different standards?
Correct.
Different financial reporting standards.
Yes, right.
Okay.
It's up to you how you want to do it. It's highly customizable. I won't say customizable, it's highly configurable module. So you can configure as you want, how you want your accounting to be derived. It's all about how you do it, what is your requirement. It fulfills all of them. You have number of options to do it.
Okay.
So this is your currency, your chart of account, your accounting calendar, and your 4C, your accounting method. So at the end of day 2, I'll again come to this screen where we'll attach our accounting method that we created. As of now, I'm just showing you what is my last step. So this is what will be my last step, my 4C.
Priya, this is Vignesh.
Yes.
So every time when I change my accounting method in specify ledger options, do I need to submit the process review and submit accounting configuration, or can I just save and close and come out?
Sorry, which process are you talking about?
Review and submit accounting configuration. I mean, the process which you yes.
Yes. I mean, that process I did it for creating of my accounting entries. This process is different. I'll come to that point later.
Thank you.
By day 2, yeah. This is, I'm just showing you what are we gonna do in this sessions. Okay, so that's the 4C. Now, what does Subledger accounting does for me? Subledger accounting is nothing but this Subledger Accounting Engine, which connects my subledger to my journal ledger. So my subledgers are my payables, my receivables, purchasing, or any of my third-party application which FAH creates for me. So all these applications, they create or generate entry with this rule engine. So I create all my rules here, how my accounting will be derived, how my descriptions will be derived. Everything is configured here. And after that, it is posted to my general ledger. So what we are discussing is this engine in this session. Now, how this engine works. So if you see these two black lines, this is what this engine does for me. So I have my transaction, for example, I have a £1,000 receivables transaction. In this engine, I have something called as my XLA events, and I have my accounting rules. So what these events does for me, like we saw, right? We have an invoice created event, we have invoice completed event. So my accounting will be there for these events. You create the invoice, you complete the invoice, you delete an invoice, or you update any invoice, and you have your accounting rules. That is your create accounting program or your online accounting. And then finally it posts my ledger, posts my transaction to journal ledger. And then finally from the journal ledger, I can use these transactions in my financial reports. So this is how the complete process works.